Alright, so I'm up here in this beautiful park right now, and I wanted to document my time at CellaQuest, Church of Mother Ayahuasca. It's a place in Orlando, Florida, where they do ayahuasca. At CellaQuest, they do ayahuasca on the weekends. It's from Friday evening. Like, I believe the earliest we could get there on Friday was around I believe it was at 12 o'clock in the morning, and it lasts all the way till Sunday. So there are 3 ceremonies: Friday at 8 o'clock at night, then there's one Saturday morning at, I believe, around 10 or 11, something like that. And then there's another one Saturday night around 8 o'clock. So, and that's for a first timer, that's plenty. Cause I only did 2 ceremonies. I only did Friday night and Saturday night. I didn't do that morning ceremony. I was so freaking tired. I did like IV therapy Saturday morning. And I never done that before. That's where they stick an IV into you and they pump vitamins into you, like mostly vitamin C and D and some other stuff, but I don't remember all that. But it definitely made me feel a whole lot better once I was done with it. And I got these little tiny things. It took forever for me though. It took about an hour for that whole bag to go into my body. And IV therapy, it lasts for about a good 2 weeks, what they say, 2-3 weeks. And, I mean, I still feel pretty good from it. When I was going to do when I went, I actually, like, I live in North Carolina, so church in Florida, so I ended up going from driving. I decided to just drive down there because I decided to make this whole thing a vacation. So I went down there Wednesday. It took me about a good 9 hours of driving down there. So I had a good time on the way down there. Went and got me some peaches, ate me some good food, Oh, I'm talking about food. There's a diet that goes with this. But the diet is mostly like a vegan meal. They don't want you to eat any meat, but if you do, they want it to be something light, like chicken or maybe fish, but no red meat, nothing heavy. Even with being vegan, they want it to be a healthy vegan meal, like not no potato chips and ice cream and that kind of stuff. I know ice cream isn't vegan, but you get what I'm saying though. Don't be eating no unhealthy food, because that kind of stuff will, like, it will make you purge more. And purging is basically just like throwing up. How ayahuasca gets in you, it works with energy within your body, and it pushes negative energy out of your body. It's trying to get rid of trash in your system. That's how it kind of works in ways. And it push all that junk food out of your body. You be throwing up all friggin' night long, man. I done seen it. I find like most people that was healthier, they can handle it a whole lot better. They wasn't really throwing up that much. Some people that was healthy still was throwing up. That's just how it is, because purging is also, they call it purging, and it really also, like, it releases negativity out of your system. So if you're experiencing some kind of traumas in your life, and the medicine will make you face the trauma, and it will help you release the traumas by purging. So it's not entirely based on your diet. You might still purge even if you don't eat healthy. I just wasn't. Another form of purging is with yarning. You might be yarning a whole lot. You might have to hit the restroom, like, and take a crap. Hopefully you won't do that on yourself while you're under the medicine. And there are all kinds of forms of purging. Whatever way your body can release this negative energy, it's going to do it. You know. So anyway, I made a vacation out of it. I went to the what was the name of that beach? Cocoa Beach. Yeah, I got there Wednesday. So, you know, I was supposed to be going to Soulcrest Friday. So I got there early on purpose so I could go to the beach at Cocoa Beach. I had a real great time at Cocoa Beach. So anyway, I started my diet in June, but you know, I was eating. I mostly ate vegan, but I ate trash every once in a while. I say about a good 3 weeks before it was time to go, it was just straight vegan. I didn't eat no trash. Oh yes, I did. I ate chips and that kind of stuff every once in a blue moon still. Trash vegan stuff, but no meat though. So Friday. So I get to the place Friday morning around like 12 o'clock. And we are all coming up in the place, parking our cars, and we all parked our cars in the front of the place. And that's when you go to the receptionist, and there was we had to wear our masks, by the way, because of COVID-19. So, because they did COVID, they're doing COVID tests there with like a hand prick type blood sample, and they do the hand prick, and then they get the results in 5 minutes. So you go in the front with your mask, then they call you out back. They call you to a room somewhere in the back of the place, and they do the test. And once you find out that you're okay, then you can go to another area of the place and take your mask off. That's when you're around the population of the people that's already passed the COVID test, and everybody that came there done passed, basically, from what I heard at this particular time. So me and this girl went on a tour. There was this other lady that gave us a tour because they was taking like 2 of us at a time to do the test, and me and her was doing the test together, and then it was like, well, you know, you want to go on a tour? The place was like, yeah, sure, let's go on a tour. So we went on this tour, and we checked out everything. So we get back on the tour, then that's when the doctor checked us out and make sure that everything we said was okay. Like, you know, they want to find out if you're on any kind of medication, so you got anything going on, high blood pressure, low blood pressure, anything, they're checking you out. So if you're on all kinds of medication, this stuff don't react well with medication. So it could possibly be lethal if you're on certain type of medications. So they try to make sure you definitely ain't on that stuff. So you gotta get off that stuff before you go. You can't take that stuff and take that medicine, or you might have some serious issues. So they go over all that stuff and do your blood pressure and all that. And if everything checks out well, then hey, you good to go. And take the medicine. So we went to Maloka. Maloka is a real big circular building that's kind of like a big tent, you know, right? And we was listening to a lot of the founders of the place talk about. We listened to all kinds of information about ayahuasca and its effects on you and what you can get from it. They wanted us to set our intentions. It's very important that you go there for a reason. It's not a fun thing to be doing ayahuasca. You don't want to go to ayahuasca with no intentions, and you think you're just gonna go there and just see a show in your head, and you think you're gonna have fun with that. It won't be fun. You just go there and you probably just be throwing up all night and have a real bad time. It's not fun. It's for healing. You really gotta look at ayahuasca as a healing medicine. So you set your intentions of why you came there to do it. And so they went over all kinds of things, and a lot of the staff introduced themselves to us. And they was all wearing white for purity. So you fast forward to the first night. So when all that stuff was done, all the introductions was done. Let me back up a little bit. After all the introductions was done, then there was probably about 25 of us that came for the healing, and it probably was about 20 of them. It was quite a bit of them. So we all told our intentions. We all let them know what we was there for. And then after that, it was ceremonial time where we went, they had like a fire that was burning, and that was for the ceremony outside. How the ceremony was we was all kind of like standing beside each other, and they gave us some rice to pray over and say our intentions to the rice, and we threw it in the fire. And they had some, I think they call it Florida water. It's kind of like holy water, really. I think that stuff kind of comes from the Amazon jungle. So they put this holy water stuff in our hands, and you could kind of massage it in like lotion, and you just press it, put it all over your body, on your neck, on your forehead, and your head, and then you put it on your legs, and from your legs you just like wipe it off like that. And so we all did that, and all that stuff was to kind of keep the place cleansed of negative energy, I believe. And I believe there's a lot more to it than just that. And they had people come around with smoke in these buckets, and they just kind of wave the smoke around. It's like this smoke cleanse, and everybody got some of that, and some of that smoke, and then I hope I ain't forgetting. I believe that was about it though. They said some prayers while we was doing that, and then it was about time to go and get in line to get a cup of ayahuasca. There was and the cup was like about that big. They was like these shot glasses, really, that you couldn't see through. Little white shot glasses. And so we ended up standing in line. We got our cups, and we ended up going to our little rooms. And I'm gonna try to put some pictures up to show what the rooms look like. It was beside another one that was called Firefly, and then there's Maloka where other people will go, and what you do, you go in your rooms and lay down on this little cot. It was like basically just a little mattress on the floor, and it was separated by like 2.5 feet, something like that, which is plenty of room. When you're under the medicine, you know, you ain't even really thinking about the person that's right beside you. So there was tents where my room was to take it at one point, but they said they got rid of the tents because there was all these issues when the weather got bad and just so many other issues with the tents. So they got rid of them and they went and built those structures. And so my group was the first ones to be in those little houses or shelters, whatever they call them. So that was cool. They wasn't finished building them, but they was good enough so they ain't gonna serve their purpose when it was time. You should have seen how they was looking like during the daytime. Like when we first got there was like these Hispanic people that was working on. I mean, they was hammering like crazy. They were hammering like crazy. They was over there trying their best to hurry up and get everything done, cause they ain't have a roof on much when we first got there. It was wood all out in the dang home yard. I was like, dang, they still building this place. So they got it looking real good when it was time to drink the ayahuasca. So anyway, we went in there and they had the music playing. They had like shaman type music playing, and there was a blessing that they did when it was time for us to actually drink. So we would hold the ayahuasca up and they would say a blessing. I think we had like a hand on our heart, something like that too. And there was a blessing they did, and it was like, it was a good, I mean, that's when I started getting nervous, really. I mean, I was already nervous coming up in there, but I really started getting nervous because that was like the point of no return for me. Once I drank that ayahuasca, it's gonna be just a different life. So I drank there. We all drank there at the same time, and so I just was sitting there. Well, first it was like this how it was nasty and stuff, and it tastes like, you know, this old nasty prune, molded prune, earthy taste. Like it was like a real nasty mud pie, basically. Like, if you ever ate mud when you was a little kid, it was like the nastiest one you ever tasted. So it was just a tablespoon though, it wasn't that much. So anyway, drank that. My heart started racing for a minute there after drinking it. Boom, 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 boom. That lasts for about a good, I'll say about a minute or two. It wasn't too long. After that though, I was just chilling. I ain't feeling anything other than that. And I sat there for about an hour. I wish I would have went there with a pen and pad, but I ain't have one. I was talking to somebody before we started the ceremony, and I was like, yeah, I wish I had a pen and pad, because they had one, and they was like, oh, well, I just go ahead and give you a couple of sheets out of mine. So they gave me a couple of sheets of paper, and I actually had a pen in my car. So I got that before. This camera look like it. It's unshaded. I hope it still look alright on video. Okay, shade's starting to come. So anyway, I had me a couple pieces of paper and I had a pad, and so I just started writing stuff down. And like I remember writing like, yeah, it's been about an hour, and I'm just sitting here and nothing. And then all of a sudden it hit me, man. It hit me hard. I start feeling shaky and a little sick. And by the way, I had my eyes closed most of the time. You can feel the medicine a whole lot better when you have your eyes closed. I opened my eyes. I was feeling kind of sick. I was thinking I was going up like purging, and but I didn't really have to. It's like it was like something was coming up, but I couldn't purge or nothing. I wasn't that sick, but it's like this feel. So I was sitting up on my bed and I started feeling all shaky, and my head was just like, just felt all this heat and this tightness in my head, and that's when my arm just started going up. Now I was just sitting on my bed and it just started tapping my forehead. I mean, I wasn't even trying to do that, but it started doing it all on its own, just tapping my head. And that's when I could feel my third eye opening. So I ended up just laying back down, and I was just getting so hot. I mean, it felt like I was in a sauna. The temperature outside was probably about 90 degrees though, so that wasn't really happening much. And it was in the building. I mean, they had like a big fan going inside that building I was in. In Maloka though, they had like actual AC and a big old fan. But you know, the new buildings, they just had a big fan going on at that point. They probably gonna change it up like later on. I'm quite sure of it. I'm sure that place will look a lot different in the weeks to come. But anyway, so I was feeling real hot, and that's when I started seeing images. I started seeing like all these big old snakes coming at me, and it was wild, man. And then it wasn't just snakes, it was like a bunch of different patterns that was like right there in front of me too. It was like I would see all kinds of just pattern shapes. They was just changing all these different colors and stuff, and then like this is what happened. And all this stuff started happening at the same time. This is the thing that kind of like was freaking me out. The music that was playing, it all of a sudden just kind of went quiet. Even though it was still playing, I couldn't really hear it. And that's when I just started hearing this crackling sound, like pop, 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 right? And I don't know where that was coming from. And I started hearing this whisper. Now I was up against the wall. My bed was up against the wall. All of our beds was against the wall. But I could hear like this whispering behind me. And it was like it was somebody talking. It's like, holy crap. That was freaking me out, man. And with all that stuff happening at the same time, that was freaking me out. Also, then there was you know, ayahuasca. There's a spirit in ayahuasca. There's a motherly spirit in ayahuasca, and they call it Mother Ayahuasca. So that's when these eyeballs started to appear. Now, there was plenty of eyeballs all through the place. I almost forgot to mention that. There was plenty of eyeballs. Like, I mean, it was like an infinite number of eyeballs that was just looking at me. I'm just looking all around. And some weird reason I can look like all around me, like in back of me, everywhere. It's like, it's hard to explain, but you can see like all around you on the medicine. And all this stuff was going on. And it was like a whole new world with my eyes closed. Normally I'm used to just seeing darkness when I close my eyes. It was weird. And so anyway, there was Mother Ayahuasca started revealing herself to me, and I was just seeing like these pair of eyeballs. Like you could tell her eyeballs from the rest of the eyeballs. So I was like, "Is that you?" Well, let me rewind. Let me rewind, cause I started seeing Mother eyeballs, and I was like, "That's it." Here, I need some free. I couldn't breathe. Oh yeah, it was. It took my it's like the air left that place, left the building. Like I mean, I couldn't breathe too good. I mean, you could still breathe. One good thing that I did before I went is with the breath work I was doing with meditation. I did meditation for quite a while before I went to that place, and meditating really helps. When you just like breathing in and breathing out, just focusing on your breath, and just try to be at peace with yourself. In, out, and just kind of keep yourself grounded. And that really helped. I was doing that, but you know, and you can breathe and you'll be okay. So this is what they had like volunteers working there as well as people that actually worked there. And so it was quite a few people that would help out if you needed help. Most of the volunteers, they would grab the buckets, puke buckets, or purging buckets, whatever you want to call it. You had those at the end of your bed, and like you felt the need to purge, then you just crawl up to your bucket and you just purge, which I ain't really have to do. Just the first night, so I was okay. But like they'll help you out. They're waiting to help you out. They don't just give you this medicine and then they go about their business. They sitting around in chairs and they watching everybody. There's quite a few of them. They watching everybody. All you gotta do is raise your hand, and they ready to come over there and help you out with it. So I was like, I raised my hand, and on this medicine, like you can't really. With me anyway, I couldn't really move, and the average person can't really move either too well. It's like a drunken type feeling, but it's not like alcohol drunkenness. It's like your body is just kind of drunk, but your mind isn't. You know, you can think really freaking good. It makes you think way more than you normally think. I mean, you're just going crazy with thought, but you don't have like a monkey mind where it's just like uncontrolled thoughts. It's just more organized. And so I seen all the stuff. I was about to freak out and stuff, and so I was raising my hand, and I was like, one of them came over and it's like, how can I help you? And I was like, I need some freaking air. I gotta go for a walk. I really just wanted to go walking somewhere and get away for a little while. But they kept on saying like, oh, you wanna go lay by the fire? Wanna go lay by the fire? Okay, sure. Let me go lay by the fire. I really wanna go somewhere else, but hey, that's fine. And the fire was just right outside. So when I went, and they had mats around the fire on the grass, in the grass. So went and lay down on one of the mats, and there was a couple other people out there. There was people that was out there by the fire from the beginning. You know, when we started, it was just kind of starting to get dark, but about time the medicine hit, it was dark. And it looked beautiful. It really did. It looked really nice outside. And the weather was pretty decent. It felt better outside. I was nice. Yeah. I mean, I was still in that medicine. And so I lay down, and that's when I closed my eyes again. And oh, by the way, when I opened my eyes, I didn't really see any visions. No, nothing. Everything was kind of normal. I mean, I still felt kind of drunk off that medicine, but I ain't see nothing. Everything was just pretty normal. Everything was good, all good when I opened my eyes. That was the experience I had for the first night, that whole night. So anyway, I ended up closing my eyes on the mat, and that's when the vision started again. That's when Aya started to appear. Aya appeared, and that's when she started talking to me. She was like, hey, I see you afraid of the medicine. I was like, is that you, or is that just me talking to myself? And she was like, no, it's me. And that's how she talked to me, like pretty much the whole time. Like, she talked to me like I was like this 8-year-old, and she was like a teacher. that a real loving, caring teacher that was trying to teach an 8-year-old son. And so she started talking to me, and she was telling me, like, um, and let me back up just a little bit. All I seen, like, mostly was just her eyeballs. She tried to reveal her face to me, but that made me so nervous when I first started seeing that. Like, she just tried to just keep it simple with just her eyeballs, and it was like she was narrating the whole story. Like, if I would call on her, like, sometimes the eyeballs would disappear. If I would call on her and say if she's still there or something, then the eyeballs appear. And that was just a positive presence. So I ain't had no fear of that at all. I was going on this journey through a whole bunch of shapes, patterns, and all kinds of different structures that morphed, and it was just so many. It's hard to really explain because it was just something that I definitely couldn't do. It's just I couldn't draw nothing like that. The stuff I seen, I couldn't draw nothing like that. It's just amazing. The visuals was amazing on this. So I seen a whole lot of snakes though, and all kinds of different things. I would see like Venus flytraps, or they had like human teeth on them. They were like, it was like I was in the jungle most of the time, and like deep in the jungle, which I ain't never been in a real type of jungle before, but it's like that's where I was. But everything had life though. All the plants, all the trees, everything was alive. So my intentions were to, like, I drink too much, and I deal with a whole lot of depression issues, not just from drinking, but just from like life in general. So that's what I came in. That's what I went to Soul Quest for, to see if I could do anything about that. So I was telling Ayahuasca about my intentions, and she was telling me to dive deeper if I want to get that kind of stuff solved within me. So the problem with diving deeper is that I felt like I was going to be losing my freaking body, my mind, not just my body, my mind. That was more scary than my body, because there was a point where she was like, dive deeper to find it. So there was like this big old wall full of eyeballs. It's like all sorts of green colors. It was like every color of green you can imagine. It was like so bright too. And there was like these eyeballs that was on this wall. I mean, like infinite amount of eyeballs. And she was like right there, like her eyeballs were like there. And there was this big old door. The door was more like a big old rectangular type of pattern, really, with no handle on it. And she was like, I want you to go through that door. And I was like, how you do that? And she was like, just look at it. So that's when I started going through it, but my body wasn't. It was just my freaking mind was, and I started just forgetting who I was, and it was just sucking it. It felt like it was just sucking my consciousness. Everything I thought that was me, it was sucking that in. I started just getting freaking dumber by the minute. I just couldn't think at all. It was scary, and I didn't want to lose that. So I started resisting and pulling back, and Ayahuasca would allow me to pull back and not go places that I didn't want to go, that I wasn't ready for yet. But hey, that's what I came there for. You're supposed to trust the medicine, allow the medicine to do what it needs to do to get you healed. And sometimes it's gonna be scary. And sometimes you gotta face certain things to be healed. You know, ayahuasca don't play games with you or sugarcoat anything. It's just there to heal you. So anyway, I pulled out of that, and I was telling me like everything I just said. Like, hey, if you want to be healed, then you're gonna have to be able to dive deep, and there's nothing to be afraid of. And that's like, oh man, I feel like I'm freaking go somewhere and not be able to come back as myself. Then that's starting to get me now. Golly, it's this one that's just around here, man. Got my little towel. Oh man. It's hot out here too, by the way. So, anyway, take a little sip of my oh, man, this is some good stuff right here. So anyway, I was about to freak out. I didn't even open my eyes. And it was like, you know, I was like, oh wow, man. You know, I opened my eyes, I was like, oh wow, I'm back. I was gone somewhere. And Aya was still talking to me like, oh, so you distracting yourself. I want you to stop distracting yourself, and I want you to just go dive deep. So I tried to do it again, started seeing all these patterns, and they just started coming in and coming and coming in, and I opened my eyes again because it was freaking me out. So I was like, you keep on distracting yourself, and I keep telling you that I'm here for love. And she was like, I am love, and God is love. Ayahuasca, by the way, lasts about 5-6 hours. Some people say about 2 hours. Bull crap. I've been feeling that for about 6-7 hours. So anyway, so I was up here all chicken when I first did it, and the medicine's been the whole time trying to get me to calm down and to close my eyes to experience it so it could cure me. But I mean, golly, they kept on having all these freaking snakes and all this stuff around me, and all this other stuff that was going on. So one thing the medicine, I was asking the medicine, what will I be getting from tonight? And ayahuasca was telling me, tonight you're gonna get, this is what you should take away, that God is love. And it was something else. What else? Oh yeah. So it started telling me all kinds of other stuff too. Stuff on spirituality and beliefs. It was telling me, there was one point where I was looking at the moon, and I was like, I closed my eyes and then I opened my eyes up again. The moon was gone. It was really because the clouds was covering the moon. And I was like, what happened to the moon? And it was telling me that the moon is still there. And just like when I die, I still will be there as far as my consciousness will still be there. And it's like you're never really gone. You're just kind of hidden, but you're always there. And I was like, oh wow, that's cool. Is everything a lesson with you? And it was like, yes, everything is. So I started seeing all kinds of cool patterns. The snakes went away. There was like sunshine and rainbows, all kinds of cool rainbow patterns that was appearing. And the medicine made me feel real good at certain points, you know. I mean, I didn't have any kind of pain in my body at all. I was just feeling real good, relaxed, and at peace with the world. It was trying to get me to experience what real love is. Ayahuasca was telling me, like, you want to get rid of everything in your life that affects your body negatively. And once you get all that stuff out of your body and exercise, and then you'll feel this constant love all the time. I mean, sure, there'll be moments of sadness, but you also feel a whole lot more real love in your body. And I want me to take that love and share it with other people. in my life. So pretty much that's what I got on the first ceremony. So the medicine started coming down. I started feeling more and more normal again. I was tired as all get out. So I went and laid down. I couldn't sleep though. My eyes was wide open. I couldn't sleep. I just kept thinking about all that stuff that I seen there. There's a lot of other stuff I learned that would make this video extremely long. So I'm gonna try not to do that. I can't tell everything that happened. It just make the video too long. So anyway, I went and lay down. I went and just laying there thinking about all this stuff that I seen. And then, so the next day come. The next day was like I did IV therapy, and that's like where they put IV in your arm, and it give you vitamins, and mostly vitamin C, vitamin D. It's real good right about now because of coronavirus. It strengthens your immune system. I did it because I was freaking tired as crap, and I knew I had to do ayahuasca again later on at night. I ain't sleep. I was laying down, but I ain't sleep none. Shoot. And so anyway, I went after the IV therapy. It was the other guys in there. Everybody was sharing their stories, and you know, there was unbelievable stories I heard of healing and purging and all kinds of stuff. You know, everybody was just tired though. So they had like yoga class early that morning. And so I went, after IV therapy, I went to a yoga class. I think that was like at 10. So I went to the yoga class, and I never been to a yoga class before. It was nice, and the instructor she was like telling us like, hey, if you feel woozy at all, then you don't have to do this stuff. You can just sit back, relax. You don't have to do it. You know, she didn't want nobody passing out trying to do yoga after that long night. But you know, I done did IV therapy. I was feeling pretty good, so shoot, I wouldn't have did it. It was nice. So after that, that's when it was time for the people that was doing the day class to do the ayahuasca daytime ceremony. So, and that was like, they kind of got like this wood spot. It's in the woods. That's where we did yoga. They used that same area for the ayahuasca ceremony. So we all us doing yoga, we ended up leaving out, and then people doing ayahuasca, they came in and they did their thing. While they was doing that, I was just walking around talking to people about their experiences. And after that was over, we had like a integration class. They call it integration class, where they broke it down into like small groups. It was like probably about, I don't know, about 6-7 people within a group. So we was talking about our experiences and how the experience connected with our intentions and our insights from it and all that stuff. So I was like, yeah. I was telling them all about it, and everybody was sharing real interesting stuff they were saying. So anyway, it was I'm gonna go fast forward to night 2. So ceremony started around 8 o'clock again, and you know, some people from the daytime ceremony, they did nighttime ceremony too. Like, those brave people. Yeah. So that was gonna be like the last night right there, Saturday night. So they held like 3 ceremonies. So 3 ceremonies. So they did the same stuff they did for the first time we came, which, you know, with all the religious type or ceremonial types. I ain't gonna say religion, I'm gonna say ceremonial. That's probably makes more better sense. So we did all that stuff, and we got our cups, And we sat back and we drank it again. Oh, this night though is different from the first time because they allow you to drink as much ayahuasca as you want. I only got 1 cup again because, you know, that 1 cup worked a whole lot for me that first time. So there was other people that's getting 2 cups, starting off with 2 cups. And you know, same old thing after about 2 hours away, and then they'll give you a booster if you want one. You get another cup. So I took my cup, I sat in my bed, I drank my cup, and I said after about 5 minutes of just sitting there, and that's when I started feeling the visuals again. It started coming in my hands, started tapping my forehead, same old thing it did last time. But this time it's like my whole body was shaking like crazy, my legs. I couldn't stop my legs from shaking. But I ended up like, I know I feel better outside, so I ended up like getting up. I had enough energy still to get up and go outside. I went and lay by the fire. And there was a helper around, but I didn't really need too much help. I mean, I was good. I just started, right? So I was laying on the mat. That's when I started having all these visions, and it was different from that last time. The visions was different. I started off seeing, like, I was inside of a crystal, and I didn't see any snakes or no eyeballs either. And it's like crystal, it's like yellow. I seen yellow and black and red colors, and then that crystal kind of opened, and I seen a bunch of other crystals. It's like I was inside a crystal, and it's like I was making my way outside of this crystal with other crystals all around. And eventually, the crystals was just shifting patterns and colors was all everywhere. It was all around me. And I was telling ayahuasca, I was like, wow, this is pretty different. And that's when Aya said something like, I didn't see her eyeballs at all, but I was like, where you at? She's like, yeah, this is gonna be a different night. This whole thing's gonna be different. So she didn't really appear to me, I can see, but I gave her a voice. So I seen all these crystal like patterns, and I seen all these spiral structures. There was so many different colors. I mean, it was just amazing all around me. And there was a point where Aya told me to ground myself and put my hands in the ground. So I put my hands in the grass, and that's when my body started merging with the ground. I became the ground, and that's when I just started seeing all this energy everywhere. It was kind of like a matrix looking type ordeal. That's all I seen, something like that energy. And you know, Aya was just telling me like we're all energy. Everything is energy and consciousness. So anyway, so they do rapé there. There's people that was taking rapé is like this sacred snuff tobacco like stuff. They get this tobacco. It's come from the Amazon, and they grind it up to a real powder form, real nice powder form, and they put it in this pipe, a bit, just picture like a long type of bamboo type of pipe, and they put it in one end and they blow from the other end. Like they do all kinds of a certain type of little ceremony before they get to you. They'll do something with their hands right here or something like that, and put it over their heart, and they'll lift it up, and I'm messing that all up, what they do. I was on this messing when I was looking at it, so anyway, they blow it up your nose, and they blow it one nostril, and then they'll blow it up another nostrils, and they said that people say that it's like a shotgun blast to your system. They say it burns like crazy. It like, you feel like your brain is about to freaking just explode, like somebody shot some freaking gunpowder in your nose. And but it's supposed to clean your system out. It's supposed to clear all that mucus up and help you think better. And on the medicine, it will either bring you up on the medicine and make your journey more intense and you can feel it more, or it will bring you down out of your journey. A lot of people be wanting to come out of their journey and they use rapé to come out of their journey. And man, dang, why I was getting to. And so they'll use it. I ain't want to use it. I actually ordered some. You can order the stuff. It's not. It won't give you any visions or anything, but it still will clear you out, and it will give you a sense of peace, and it will ground you. From what I hear, I haven't done it yet, but it's supposed to be a good spiritual experience using it. So that's in my spirit, in my quest of spirituality. I'm a add rapé to it, and also I've added breath work to my spiritual quest too, where like the shamanic type of breathing. I've been doing it for about like 10 minutes. I'm working my way up to about an hour, and there's so much stuff on YouTube about breath work, so I ain't gonna talk too much about that. And on rapé also, so I'm not gonna talk too much about that. So anyway, where was I? So I started seeing all these crystals, and that's when I started talking to me, and that's when I started seeing eyeballs again. I was saying, okay, we're gonna dive deep this time. And she was like saying, like, starting off though, like, yeah, I know you're still scared of the medicine, right? So I was like, yeah, for sure. And I was like, she turned the whole environment into like a snake skin. It's like we was laying on snake skin, but like I said, I couldn't see her. It was like it was like my side and her side, and her side was like this green colored snake skin. It was huge. It was greenish and yellow and blackish a little bit. I mean, and it was more lighter though on her side. My side was more darker. It was like a blackish type of snake skin and brownish and stuff. And you can clearly tell like her side and my side. And it was just so weird. It's hard to explain. But anyway, she was like, like, it's just me and you. It's just us here. And I had my eyes closed, and she was just trying to take the fear out of me. And all of a sudden, I started feeling real warm, real good. I felt good. I ain't never felt that good before. Real good. It's like it was like this, it was this episode on the Twilight Zone where this old lady that was afraid of dying, and she was like, there was this guy that came knock on the door, was talking to her, and she was telling him that how she was afraid to die. She was always looking at clocks, and the guy was talking to her. He was all cool and all, and before she realized it, that guy was deaf. She didn't realize he was deaf. She was already dead. It was like that with me. Like, before I realized it, my body was gone. I was just gone, man. But I still felt good, and I was at peace. It made me just keep my eyes closed. I didn't even want to open my eyes, but I wasn't me anymore. So Aya took me on this journey to why I was depressed, and I started seeing all these images of me back in the days, and I can't go into too much of the images because it's so personal and all. So I'm gonna just say that I seen a bunch of images that was brought back old emotions, and Aya showed me like the minute I changed and became somebody else. And it was just, it was mind blowing. And Aya showed me how I can change all that and leave that in the past. and gave me a plan of action. Also, I was asking Aya about my spiritual animal, because in the first ceremony, I was like seeing monkeys and stuff, and I was like, "Is that my spiritual animal?" And she was like, "No," and then all of a sudden, everything got real dark, and it was like I was in the woods again. So I was laying on my side, and I started hearing like this kind of like loud sound. It was kind of like almost like a roaring, growling type of sound. It was coming. I was like, oh, it was coming up behind me. I was like, oh crap. Oh man, I wonder what my spiritual animal is. It's gonna be like some monster or something. So it was like it got real close to me, right there where it seemed like it was about to touch me or something. That's when I was in front of me. It was like, man, in front of me it was a bunch of black, and then I started seeing like these eyeballs, and I heard this noise like whoo, and it was like, I was like, is my spiritual animal an owl? And she's like, yes. And I was like, holy crap. And then I started seeing owls flying all around the place. Their eyes started looking all kind of like shooting out at me though. It was like the eyeballs, choo, 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 like googly eyes. And that means something too, by the way. I found that out later. So after that, I was trying to get me to understand that I'm supposed to be a teacher, and I'm supposed to be learning certain things, and I'm supposed to be listening to certain people, and I'm supposed to be getting knowledge from these certain people, and I'm supposed to be learning, expelling that knowledge, and same old thing in a big old circle, teaching people. And that's what ayahuasca is telling me. That was pretty profound. Then after that, it was like I actually had I went and opened my eyes, you know, and it was like I was in a different world. I had my eyes closed most of that time. And I had to go to the bathroom, so I got one of the instructors to take me to the bathroom, and I couldn't barely walk. And I was really I felt that medicine more and I only took that one cup. That second, I felt that cup like crazy still. And it's been over probably about 2-3 hours, it felt like. But like you can't really even tell the time though. Like when you're under these trance, you can't really tell what time it is. You're just there. It's like time don't even exist. So anyway, I got off, went to the bathroom. Everything was looking weird. I knew where I was, but everything looked different, you know. It just looked like a different place. So I went to the restroom. But first, before I went to the restroom, the guy had me sit on the chair because there was somebody in the bathroom already. And it was restrooms other places, but also that stuff I couldn't walk too well, so he just wanted me to just wait. Because stumbling on down to the other restrooms would have took a lot of work. So I sat in this chair, wait for this one person to come out of the restroom. While I was in that chair, I couldn't keep my eyes open. I went and closed my eyes, and then I started seeing all these freaking little plants all around me with teeth and stuff. and and all kinds of stuff was going on with my eyes closed. And then eventually he came around and he had me go to the restroom. So I went in the restroom, and the world looked different in that restaurant too, man. It was weird. So anyway, I come up out of it, and I'll tell you the craziest thing was when I went in, because it's like, make sure you wash your hands. Yeah, sure thing. Like, what's that? Really? What's washing your hands? But anyway, so I started washing my hands, and it felt weird. It's the weirdest experience putting water on your hands. But so I started looking in the mirror, and I was like this African dude. It's like, golly. I was like, had tribal paint on and stuff. And behind me, there was other African people. So I went back out there. Like, oh yeah, it was the guy that took me to the restaurant, he was behind me. He was like, okay, don't be losing it now. Like, don't lose it, man. I done lost it a long time. Shoot. So anyway, I went back out to my mat behind this other guy. I had my eyes open. I was like, I'm gonna just keep my eyes open and experience it. I think I got my lesson and everything. So, you know, I was cool. I'm gonna just sit up and watch everybody else. Cause, you know, people were dancing, people were singing, people was crawling around like they were animals, crying like crazy, tripping balls out there. There was people that was purging like crazy, like blah, 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 blah. There was so much going on. You could distract. That's how I was first. Now I was distracting myself looking at me. It was this one girl, she kept on doing all these cool patterns. She was standing, I don't know how she could stand up and just do this stuff, but she was standing up and doing all kinds of cool patterns and stuff. And I mean, just all through that, her experience. And I mean, that was cool. I liked it. And the medicine was telling me that she was working with energy. And wow, that was awesome. And I was looking over, it was this one girl I kind of connected to that we was talking like when we first came in. I said something about her earlier when we first came in. We did the tour together and we kept on talking. We just had some real good chemistry together. I liked that girl. She was cool. So I looked at her and she was just like sitting there with her eyes freaking open. God, what is she thinking about? She was like zoned out in another world with her eyes open. It was kind of like that with me too. That night with my eyes open, I could see stuff. I was looking at the sky, and the sky turned into a face. And the medicine told me a whole lot of stuff that night. It was amazing. I went to bed that night. I went to sleep like a baby. I slept good. I got up the next day. We did like an integration meeting. We all was together at one point, and there was a song, an Ayahuasca song, that a shaman song that closed the ceremony. They did a prayer first, and then they did the Ayahuasca song, and man, it was so emotional for everybody. And you should have seen the way that we came up in that place, how we was looking and acting and behaving towards each other, and how our spirit was. It was just so gloomy. And when we left the place, we was all together. We was laughing, having a good old time. It was just, man, it was incredible how the medicine done changed us that quick. And with the medicine, it's like you constantly are getting downloads with that medicine. So when you leave, it's not over. It's not like, well, I was gonna say like leaving church and then all of a sudden you're sinning again. It's not. I am gonna say that. It's not like that. Like the spirit ain't in you no more. It's like something's still in us. I say that for like everybody. I'm sure it's like that. They still feel this medicine in them. I do. And so anyway, there was the closing ceremony. There was we did another small meeting, and we explained everything from the second ceremony and all that stuff. And we're gonna always be doing these integration meetings. These integrations meetings don't ever stop. You do them all your whole life, and they're free. We do them on Zoom meetings right now. So, and by the way, before you go to that place, you do Zoom. They was doing Zoom meetings too to kind of get you prepared for what's to come. Too, by the way, you know, they reach out to you. This place is a real good place. Soul Quest. I don't know how the other places are, but they're a real good place. They really are there to help you out. Those are some of the friendliest, happiest, coolest people that you'll ever meet on this planet, man. There's some really decent people at Soul Quest. I like that place. I definitely will go there again. So anyway, We did all that. It was time to go home. We was all sad, of course. We didn't want to leave the place. So we all had to go home, and that's when I get out, and start hearing stuff about. Now it's time to start hearing stuff about coronavirus and all the stuff about racism and all this other stuff. That's just that affects your spirit in such a sad way. I mean, for me it does in a way. I don't see how anybody can be happy about any of that. I think it's cool. I don't see how anybody can be happy. It affects us as a society with all the stuff that's going on in society. But a lot of stuff you just can't change. But you can change yourself. You can't change. Sometimes you just can't change society, but sometimes you can. And one thing I want to do is be able to change society in a positive way. But you constantly on that medicine. Like, I'll tell you one thing that happened though, cause I went jogging the day after that, and I tell you, after jogging, I started feeling that medicine coming up in me. I thought I was gonna throw up, and I started seeing freaking. It wasn't like the geometric type patterns that I was seeing under the medicine. It was more like I would see like just normal stuff that was around me. It's just that they'll be in HD and they'll go right back to how it was. HD, back, HD, back, HD. It's like, golly, this is just weird, man. I hope I don't freaking go under the medicine, or I'm gonna be they gonna be done call the freaking police. I was in this bathroom jogging, so I was like, oh man, this is not gonna be good if that happened, right? But it didn't, so I ended up like getting in my car, driving home. Everything was just fine, but I was ready to start calling the people for Soul Quest. I actually had a Zoom meeting later on that day and for integration, and I was talking to them about this, like, oh yeah, somebody else called, actually called, because that happened to them too. But that's normal though. That's why they would say, don't go right back to work. Don't finish up and go like that Sunday and go back to work Monday. Do that, man. Shoot. I made it so I wouldn't have to go back to work till Wednesday, and of that next week. So shoot, don't do that, man. You might still be on that medicine at Monday, and yeah, we're ripping balls. So okay, a month later after doing ayahuasca, how am I doing with drinking and depression? The reason why I decided to go and do ayahuasca in the first place. So a month later, I haven't drank anything since I did ayahuasca, and the way I can explain it is that, you know how you like doing something when you was a certain age, and then you're another age and you just don't really care for it anymore. It's like you kind of grown out of it. And I mean, that's how I kind of feel right now with drinking. It's just I just don't want to. I just don't have that desire anymore. It's just, I know it's strange, but that's just how it is. So I really haven't drank anything, and I really don't want to. And with depression, it's like, I mean, I still have, I get sad like everybody else gets sad, but I don't just dwell on things that emotionally, I don't dwell on emotional problems. I kind of actually look at situations in a different manner now, to where they don't really drive me to the point of just depression. I don't dwell on problems like I used to in the past. So I think that's what it has done for me as far as depression goes. So ayahuasca really has changed my life for the positive. I really feel like I got a new drive in life, and that I want to do different things in life, and there's a future for me as far as a different path. And you know, there's this bright light that's shining, and I'm just ready to go forward and experience new and exciting things. And I believe, ayahuasca was a plus for me. I see it.